This must have been one of the very cold days they talked about in some of the Gilligan's Island books. Note that you can see Gilligan's breath here in the cold. If these were filmed anywhere from a month to a week in advance, the temperatures in Los Angeles during that time, which would have been January and February of 1966, did dip down to about 39 degrees, so it was probably one of those mornings. Here is some very good continuity. In this medium close-up shot, we see the skipper writing the word steak in the sand, and he is just beginning the letter K. Then in the close-up, he's in the middle of and finishing the letter K, so that's a good job of continuity. That would have been an easy one to mess up. A hand grenade is large enough that if it flew through the air in the path that Gilligan is following with his eyes, we would have seen it go through the air, but we don't see him looking at anything. In this scene, Mrs. Howell says,
"With the family crest, cross-dollar bills on a field of Swiss bank."
And yet when we look at the crest on the shirt, that is exactly what it is not. Here in the lower left, on the professor's arm, we can see a fast boom or equipment shadow. Looking at this slate map, the way the lagoon is positioned on this map really isn't right. Take a look at this scene. You'll note that the lagoon goes out and turns to the right toward the ocean, and yet on this map here, it would go out and turn to the left. Here is another case where they prepare a prop for easy breaking. You can follow this little damaged area from top to bottom, and then you can see how that matches up to how it broke in this next scene. Here's a case of fast finger with Mrs. Howell. First she's fondling Gilligan and pointing her finger up, and then the next scene here, her hand is back down. The professor is holding a Thompson 1928A1 submachine gun. Here's a picture of that model. This one in the picture has a 20-round magazine, and the one the professor is holding appears to have a 30-round magazine. This is another case where they were probably able to find actual empty shells from World War II hand grenades. This looks rather authentic, and I'm guessing that the empty shells were probably easy to come by from some of the war surplus stores even into the 60s.
Who, like the rattlesnake of the genera Crotalus, can actually be stared into immobility.
Crotalus is actually the genus of snakes which are rattlesnakes. The snakes themselves cannot be stared into immobility. However, there was a rumor that staring at a snake would hypnotize the person who is doing the staring. This also turns out not to be true.